All right, so Milan Fashion Week Fall Winter 2025. We're talking high fashion, the stuff that trickles down and influences, what we all end up seeing and wearing eventually.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always fun to kind of get a sneak peek at what's coming, right?
Absolutely. And, especially thinking about Taiwan's fashion scene, like how do these big global trends, play out here?
That's what we're going to get into today, yeah.
Yeah.
How does that high fashion stuff from Milan actually resonate here in Taiwan?
So we've got a bunch of different sources here, all talking about Milan Fashion Week Fall Winter 25.
Runway shows, yeah, some street
Yeah.
style, a bit of
We're
analysis,
going to pull out those key trends.
and try to see those connections to Taiwan, right?
Yeah.
From the high-end boutiques all the way to just everyday streetwear.
Right. So to start, let's talk about some specific designers. Prada, what really stood out to you?
Well, Prada, I mean, they always have a really interesting take. And this season, they call their aesthetic raw glamour.
Raw glamour. Okay, so what does that even mean?
So picture this. It's kind of like vintage-inspired pieces, but styled in this sort of off-kilter, unexpected way. There's a lot of layering going on.
Interesting.
So you get these dramatic silhouettes, a vibe that's both edgy and elegant at the same time.
Trying to picture it.
Okay, think like tailored coats, but then paired with flowing skirts
Mm-hmm.
or unexpected textures.
Ah, okay.
So it's not overly polished,
Yeah.
not that super perfect, untouchable elegance.
More character.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's a story behind the clothes.
And where in Taiwan do you see that raw glamour translating?
Well, Simending comes to mind immediately.
Right, yeah.
Such a hub for independent fashion, right?
Totally. So many creative looks there.
Exactly. You often see those layered skirts, retro-inspired coats.
But styled in that really individual modern way.
Exactly. It's a similar spirit, of kind of playing with those vintage influences, but giving them a contemporary twist.
Okay. So from that raw glamour to Giorgio Armani.
Yeah.
He's always been known for a much more kind of understated elegance.
Right. And this season was like a return to those core Armani strengths. I mean, the phrase they used was earthy elegance.
Earthy elegance.
Yeah, beautiful flowing gowns, a lot of those muted earthy tones, and the embellishments were all about catching the light in this really subtle way.
Okay. And that soft power idea, what kind of specific pieces embody that?
Oh, think about those wide leg trousers, the ones that just grate beautifully when you move. Luxurious velvet blazers.
Ooh, yeah.
And there's this word they use to describe some of the looks, louche.
Louche. What's that?
So louche elegance is kind of like elegant, but with an air of mystery, maybe even a touch of the disreputable, but in a very cool, sophisticated way. It's effortless. Yeah.
It's interesting to think about how that translates for people like me who live in Taiwan. Because, the weather here can be pretty mild even in the winter. Those lighter fabrics, the relaxed silhouettes, that could be really appealing.
Right. And I can see people, professionals especially, incorporating those elements, wide leg trousers, less structured blazers, that kind of look.
Yeah, a kind of sophisticated but still comfortable vibe. Okay, let's shift gears to Dolce & Gabbana. They're known for being a little more raw out there.
Oh, yeah. Much more dramatic.
So what did they do this season?
This was interesting. Their inspiration, they said, was kind of a blend of, London's edgy streetwear with that old-school Italian glamour they're famous for.
So a bit of a clash.
Well, more like a balance, really.
Mm.
They had tailored vintage pieces mixed with, lace bodysuits,
Wow.
creating those powerful silhouettes, and then those, shimmering cocktail dresses, a real twist on those classic styles.
It sounds like they were kind of playing with tradition,
Totally. Paying homage to those iconic looks, but then filtering them through this really modern, often quite bold lens.
Right. So homage in fashion, what does
Yeah.
that actually mean?
So when you say homage in fashion, it's basically showing respect or paying tribute to something from an earlier era, a particular style. You see echoes of those older looks, but they're updated. New fabrics, new silhouettes.
Okay, that makes sense. And where in Taiwan do you see that kind of look resonating?
I think Taiwan's younger generation, especially creatives and influencers, are really embracing this kind of blend.
Yeah, I can see that.
That mix of vintage and modern with that edgy twist, that feels very, very now.
I bet if you check out Instagram during Taipei Fashion Week, you'll see a lot of those Dolce & Gabbana influences.
I think so too.
Mm.
Okay, so Ferragamo, under Maximilian Davis,
Right.
what did he bring to the table?
Yeah, tell us about Ferragamo.
So Davis is continuing to kind of push Ferragamo in a very modern direction.
Mhm.
And for him, that means a really luxurious take on Minimalism.
Minimalism, but luxurious.
Yes. Oversized coats, impeccably tailored suits, leather details, lots of clean lines. Very powerful, but in an understated way.
So not about the bells and whistles.
Exactly. It's about that effortless luxury.
Ah, effortless luxury. How would you define that?
It's looking elegant and stylish, but in a way that feels natural. It's not about trying too hard. It's about the quality of the materials, the perfect cut, the way you carry yourself.
Sort of throw it on and look amazing.
Right. And in Taiwan, I think that aesthetic really speaks to those like urban professionals,
Yeah.
people who want timeless pieces that project confidence. Not flashy, just quality.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, finally, let's talk Versace. Always a showstopper.
Oh, yeah. Donatella Versace definitely went all out this season. It was like a full-on celebration of making a statement.
What kind of statement are we talking about here?
Think bold shoulders, those shiny liquid-like fabrics, very sexy cuts, just like radiating confidence.
Definitely not for the shy types.
No, not at all. We saw those metal mesh dresses, the cinched blazers, statement boots. Everything was designed to be noticed.
To make a statement, as you said, what does that even mean in the world of fashion?
It's pretty simple. It means wearing something that immediately grabs attention, shows off your personal style, and isn't afraid to be bold.
It's interesting to think about how that Versace energy translates to Taiwan. Like, obviously not everyone here is rocking those full runway looks.
Right.
But that underlying message of confidence, self-expression, I think that definitely resonates. Maybe it's a bold accessory, maybe it's a more daring silhouette, but I think that desire to stand out, express individuality, it's there.
I agree. It's less about directly copying the looks and more about that attitude.
So looking at all of these designers, all these trends, do you see any kind of like bigger picture trends from Milan that are playing out here in Taiwan?
Oh, definitely. I think one of the biggest is relaxed tailoring.
Relaxed tailoring, huh?
Yeah, so think loose, wide-leg trousers, softer jackets.
Mhm.
It's a look that works really well in Taiwan's climate.
Definitely will.
Another big one is that kind of vintage sportswear vibe,
Mhm.
like tracksuits and bomber jackets, but, with a modern update.
Ah, that retro-inspired sporty look. I see that everywhere in Taiwan these days.
Yeah, it's comfortable, it's stylish, and it taps into that growing appreciation for vintage aesthetics.
Right.
And finally, I'd say minimalist chic is still going strong.
Yeah, that seems to be a pretty universal trend.
Clean lines, neutral colors, subtle details. It just works.
So it sounds like Milan might set the initial trends, but Taiwan takes those ideas and really adapts them, makes them its own.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's be real. Those high-end designer prices, not exactly in everyone's budget.
Right.
Any tips for how people in Taiwan can get these looks, like on a more realistic budget?
Oh, totally. First of all, don't underestimate the power of Taiwanese brands.
Yeah.
There are so many talented local designers and retailers who are creating really stylish pieces at much more affordable prices.
Supporting local businesses, that's great.
And often, they're taking inspiration from those same global trends. So you're getting that on-trend look, but without the designer price tag.
Great advice. What else?
Okay, e-commerce. You can find some amazing deals online from both local and international sellers. Just do your research and, be careful about sizing.
Online shopping, always a good option. Any tips for making those online finds work?
Invest in a few key statement pieces, like maybe an on-trend coat or a skirt with a unique texture. And then you can style those with your existing basics.
So you don't need a whole new wardrobe.
Exactly. Just a few strategic pieces can really elevate your look.
Okay, last but not least, vintage.
Yes. Don't forget about vintage shops. Cities like Taipei and Taichung have some amazing ones. You can find unique, stylish pieces at really great prices.
And vintage is so on trend right now, too.
Right. Plus, it's sustainable.
Yeah.
So you're doing good for the planet while looking good.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of, fashion vocabulary today. Just to recap some of those key English terms.
Sure. So we have statement piece, that one bold item that really stands out. On trend, meaning fashionable right now. Effortless chic, that stylish but seemingly effortless look. And of course, make a statement. Wearing something that turns heads.
Right. And then there's fashion forward, meaning you're ahead of the curve, setting trends rather than just following them.
Exactly.
So to wrap things up, we've really explored this whole world of Milan Fashion Week Fall/Winter 2025. We've looked at those big trends from designers like Prada, Armani, Dolce & Gabbana, Ferragamo, Versace.
And how those trends connect to the fashion scene here in Taiwan.
Exactly. And I think, it's clear that fashion goes way beyond just brands and labels. It's about creativity, self-expression.
And those things are happening all over the world in different ways.
So next time you're getting dressed, think about this. How are you using your style to express yourself? What statement are you making?
Because fashion is a powerful tool.
And it can be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
So that's it for today's deep dive. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.